Hi, my name is Rasmus and I'm making a 3D top-down action adventure game. This is the third devlog entry, taking my project just a little bit closer to being an actual game. Now, before I get started, I wanted to thank all of you who are stopping by, and especially all of you who have subscribed and given input and feedback in the comments. This is my first time making videos and I am really grateful for all the support. This time around I will begin working on some level design and making some updates to the visuals. I know that spending time on the visuals is not really a top priority at the moment, but I think all game developers know the feeling of, oh no, my game is not looking pretty enough or unique enough, and I kind of got stuck there for a few days. Anyway, let's get to work. So one thing I really wanted to do was to start working on the starting zone. Now, for that to make sense in this devlog, you need to know a bit about the game's backstory. So the player character is actually a sort of bodyguard. I guess this also explains why he is so skilled at melee combat and also range combat, though you will have to wait till later in development to see that. The VIP you are tasked with protecting is a young girl called Lucy, and she is very much who the entire story revolves around. Anyway, on this particular day, Lucy is on a transport ship with her crew, while you pilot a fighter jet flying alongside it. And that is where you are suddenly hit by some kind of explosion. So you crash land the plane in the woods below, and this is basically where the game starts. Now, I guess that at some point I will have to find a good way to tell this story to the player, but that is a problem for future Rasmus. What I needed first was to add a crashed fighter jet to the scene. Now, in order to have any chance of finishing a game like this, I will use some third-party assets, but I like to kind of make them my own first. So I used this model from the Cinti Polygon Sci-Fi Space Pack and opened it up in Blender to make some modifications. So I removed a bunch of stuff to make it a bit smaller and more simple, changed the wing configuration a bit, and added some materials to the model. Now, because it is a crashed plane, I needed some debris as well, so I used Blender's self-fracture feature to break the model apart so that I have some pieces I can scatter around. I added it to the scene in Unity and moved the pieces around a bit to make it look crashed. Finally, I added some particle effects for some fire and smoke, and added some point lights with an orange glow to the fires. Now, to make everything look more convincing, I wrote a small flickering script and added it to the lights, and now we have a crash site. It's not really looking as nice as I would like it to, but for now it will have to do. Next, I moved on to start making the starting area. Now, in my opinion, a good starting area will make or break a game. So what you see me building here is more of a start area prototype. After playing around on what I called the combat arena tile, I got the idea to see if I could actually make the entire gameplay on tiles that are automatically revealed and hidden as the player moves around. This will not only help me in optimizing the game, but also give it a rather unique look for an action-adventure game. On the other hand, it might simply be annoying for the player, and no matter what, I need to find a way to make it an integral part of the game design for it to make sense. For now, I will simply see if I can make it work. So I sketched out a brief map and started to work on it in Blender. For the starting zone prototype, I estimated that I needed around 12 tiles, so I cut out the waterline and added rocks to make a back wall. Finally, I created this special box with very specific measurements and used it along with the Boolean modifier to cut the world into tiles with everything matching up nicely. I loaded them into Unity, and after adding some trees and scattering some enemies across the tiles, I started to work on the hide reveal script. I really wanted to have them animate in and out in an interesting and pleasing way, but I managed to avoid falling into that particular hole and kept the focus on making it work. So for now, the tiles simply use triggers to check if the player is on or near it and changes its layer between environment and hidden. To make it work, I simply added a calling mask to the camera to stop it from rendering items within the hidden layer. And that's it. It's not really a pretty implementation with the tiles just springing into existence like that, but it works well enough for now. Now, what you don't see in this devlog is the countless ways I found not to do level design for this game. But it was really important for me not only to make something that was appealing, but to do so in a way that I can iterate over quickly, as it will take many tries to get the starting zone feeling right. So this is where I got a bit off track and convinced myself that the overall visuals of the game needed an immediate overhaul. First, I wanted to make the environment pop a bit more, especially around the crash side, so I decided to go with a nighttime look for the zone and played around with the post-processing and the materials. I also fixed an issue with my water shader that had been nagging me for a while, so that foam now only spreads on the top face of the water instead of around all edges. Next, it was cell shader time. I bet you all know the incredible look and Toon style graphics of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and like so many before me, I wanted to copy it. So finding a shader wasn't really a problem, and after trying a few different takes, I ended up using this tutorial here. With just a few tweaks, I had it working. Now, what did take time was all the stuff that followed. First, I needed to change all the materials and finding good values for rim shading and ambient lighting for each individual one. Next, the overall lighting of the scene needed tweaking, the post-processing was acting up, and even my tree shader needed to be completely rewritten because the standard one from Cincy wasn't really compatible with the Toon shader. Now, I bet you all saw this coming, but I really underestimated the task. Anyway, I got through, and though I should probably have waited with this, I think it does give me a lot of opportunity to make my game look, if not unique, then at least distinctive. Before calling it done with the visuals overhaul, I added some particle effects to both the player and the enemies so that the scene looks a bit more alive. Now, for the next time, I will get on to adding some more enemy types. I know I promised it before, so to make you believe me, here is a small sneak peek of the new enemy models that I've been working on while editing this devlog. If you haven't already, now is the time to hit the subscribe button below if you want to be notified when the next episode is out. Also, please like the video and post any feedback you might have for me in the comments. Again, thank you so much for the support so far, and I'll see you next time.